I just came back from a trip to Argentina where I made an interesting discovery. Every ultra-processed food has a front of package warning labeling warning the consumer if that product has a high amount of sugar, sodium, and fat. Hi, my name is Gabriel Patridge. I'm a counselor in psychology and a physician, and in this video I will talk about front of package warning labeling. Latin America leads the world in the movement to print nutritional warning labels on the front of food packages. Currently, the labels warn when a food product exceeds consumers' daily recommended value of any nutrient of concern, namely sugar, salt, or saturated fat. Some countries have even added trans fats, artificial sweeteners, and caffeine. Now, before I continue informing you why these warning labels are so important for you, the consumer, I want to be clear that I'm not promoting a monastic lifestyle. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I think it's important that we make an educated and conscious decision on our diet and lifestyle. I, for one, will indulge myself once in a while with a sugary dessert that I really love. Most of the time, I'm very disciplined and committed to a healthy diet and physical activity. But I'm a strong believer that it should also be a balance, where we do not have to completely eliminate from our lives things like that might not have a healthy benefit, but give us joy as long as we can control the habit. Okay, so getting that out of the way, let's move on to the information. Sugars, salt, oils, and fats are ingredients found in processed foods. To minimize the health-related risk, the World Health Organization is recommending the intake of salt to less than 5 grams per day, of free sugar to less than 10% of total energy intake, of saturated fat to less than 10%, and of trans fat to less than 1% of total energy intake. Overconsumption of each of these have been linked to various negative health outcomes. Front of package warning labeling is a simple and practical and effective tool to inform the public about the products that can harm health and help guide purchasing decisions. Products can have more than one warning label. 88% of consumers stated that 2 warning labels are already too many for them to consider purchasing a product. Argentina requires big food to add warning labels to ultra-processed food. Argentina uses the octagonal warning label that correctly and quickly and easily identify products high in sugar, sodium, and fat. Like this one here, which that's the octagonal, and it has excess in sugar, excess in total fats, and excess in calories. And this one just has 3 warnings, but you can also have one that may have something else, like this one here, so it has 4 warnings. 3 warnings, and then here is one with 4 warnings. Just keep showing you so you can have a really good idea. As you can see, there, somebody comes, sees the package with the warnings, maybe they'll think it twice. Here's a small package with the warnings. Finally, this one here has the products inside, but outside you can see the 4 octagonal warnings. Consumers in countries like Argentina are getting help to identify unhealthy food thanks to the new food promoting laws that mandate front of package warning labels. Argentina has now one of the world's strongest and most comprehensive food policy laws. Companies that produce goods high in sugar, calories, sodium, and fat are prohibited from advertising this to children or selling them at schools. And knowing how the rates of obesity and excess weights have nearly tripled in the last 30 years among children and youth in countries like Canada, this is a huge achievement. This law in Argentina is based on the experience of other countries in the region, such as Chile, Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, Bolivia, Brazil, Uruguay, Venezuela, and Peru, which have also implemented front-of-package warning labeling in their packaging. Chile was actually the first country to implement front-of-packaging labeling in 2016 and has been a leader in the movement. The evidence suggests that right now in Argentina and in Chile, with the warning labels that they have applied with the nutrient profile models, these countries are regulating at least 97.98% of ultra-processed food. These countries are also working to fill this 2% gap by marking foods that contain colorings, flavorings, emulsifiers, and thickeners that are used to mimic real food. Canada has introduced nutritional front-of-package warning labels in July 2022. The food industry has until January 1st, 2026 to fully comply. I have not yet seen a single product with warnings, so it looks like the food industry is in no real rush. In Canada, the labels are part of the federal government healthy eating strategy to combat high obesity levels in the population, where 67% of adults have weight categorized as overweight or obese. Health Canada estimates that the annual economic burden of unhealthy eating amounts to $6.6 billion annually. And knowing how lousy our medical system is becoming, we are better off trying to stay healthy. The food industry lobby groups have been opposing the labels, and the most vocal to resist the labels include the dairy industry. But despite the visceral reaction of both sides, Health Canada finally decided to move forward with the labels. Better late than never. But it must be hard for a government to say no to a multi-billion industry, even if it benefits its population. Like the United States, where ultra-processed foods makes up a staggering 60% of their daily calorie consumption, and they have not yet implemented the warning. Knowing that the adoption of front-of-packaging nutrition warnings can help decrease obesity, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, and some cancers, you would ask yourself, why is it taking so long for the United States to mandate it when poor dietary quality remains a leading cause of death in the US? They have a health crisis. Unhealthy eating and physical inactivity is the leading cause of death in the US. But it seems that the food industry is doing a great job in lobbying lawmakers not to implement this measure. Interesting that recently the US General has called on Congress to require warning labels on social media platforms similar to those now mandatory on cigarette boxes, but ignore similar warnings with junk food, when there are no studies or research that can prove that social media is doing such harm. Could it be the other way around? Could it be that children and teens who have mental health issues are using social media as a way to escape from their reality, just like any other addiction does? There is hardly any research that could come to this conclusion, so why did the Surgeon General come to their conclusion that social media is so harmful? But there is a lot of research that proves that processed food is definitely bad for us. It's actually ultra-processed food that should have tobacco-style warnings. Another country that has made the front-of-package warning labels mandatory since 2021 is Israel. Research has shown favorable significant positive changes in food choices as a result of the labeling. Some 60% of people changed their eating habits, and 20% of industries reformulated their products to comply with the established profile and thus avoid warning seals on their packaging. Research shows that well-designed front-of-package nutritional labels both empower consumers to make healthier choices and prompt industries to create healthier foods. A recent study led by the research at the University of Nevada in Reno and the Pan American Health Organization suggests front-of-package warning labels can help reduce poor nutrition-related non-communicable diseases, such as cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and some cancers. In addition, the purchase of sugar sweeteners beverages showed a significant decrease of almost 24% since the implementation of labeling. By the way, non-communicable diseases are diseases that are not spread through infection or through other people, but are typically caused by unhealthy behaviors. They are the leading cause of death worldwide and present a huge threat to health and development, particularly in low and middle income countries. According to the World Health Organization, cardiovascular diseases account for most non-communicable diseases deaths, followed by cancers, chronic respiratory diseases, and diabetes, including kidney disease. These 5 groups of diseases account for over 80% of all premature non-communicable diseases deaths. Tobacco use, physical inactivity, the harmful use of alcohol, unhealthy diets, and air pollution all increase the risk of dying from non-communicable diseases. Most developed countries have implemented warning signs against the use of tobacco, and the same must be done with sugar and the fast food industry, especially when they're making fast food more attractive to children by rewarding them with toys. But for now, front of package warning labeling is a step in the right direction for us, the consumers, to make informed decisions about what we eat. If you liked this video and found it helpful, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Until next time.